Okay, so the social media craze. So let's talk about some of the most popular sites. Of course, Facebook. Got about 600 million users on Facebook. Lots and lots of business people are using Facebook. It's probably the #1 network for business. You've got Twitter, which is second on the list. Have about 400 million users on Twitter. This is going to talk more about that. LinkedIn, which is what I like to call professional Facebook. So it's you as a professional. That's used mainly as a recruiting tool, or maybe some way if you're wanting to talk to a corporation but you want to go through the back door instead of trying to go through the gatekeeper. YouTube, like we just watched, was a video site. Blogger is a site that you can create a blog on. WordPress is also a site that you can create a blog on, but you can also create a website on there as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. And then Flickr is a photo hosting site. So a lot of photographers or people that have professional photos that need to display those will put them on Flickr. Is my clicker working? No? Okay, so why would you tweet? Well, you might want to tweet to build and engage a loyal fan base of customers, visitors, and stakeholders. So a lot of people are confused about Twitter and how it works and why they would use it. So these are a couple of reasons why you'd want to do that. You want to develop a network of consumers who have their own audience. And you also want to enhance the image. Am I working now? Okay, enhance the image of your business, and you're ultimately wanting to convert Twitter followers into customers or leads, something like that. So you're wanting to say something to them and then take them over to a website or a photo or a video. So you're not necessarily writing the whole story on Twitter because that's impossible because of the character count. So you're wanting to send them somewhere else. Yes, okay, we got it. Okay, so why are you here? Here are the most common reasons why people don't use Twitter. They don't understand the messaging process, so they don't understand how to tweet. That's what you would call it. Why would I use Twitter when I'm on Facebook? A lot of people say that to me too. They're the type of monogamous consumer that will master one thing and then they'll go to the next and they'll go to the next. And that works well, but you're only able to utilize one network at a time. So that's not always the best case. Whoa, now I'm going crazy. All right, so here's a little bit of Twitter lingo for you. So some definitions. A tweet is a message on Twitter, and you get 140 characters to say what you need to say. That's including spaces and including punctuation. I've had some clients call me in distress saying that Twitter is broken, and I asked them why, and they said, well, I'm trying to send a message and it's not working. I go, okay, well, how many letters do you have in there? Well, I've got 343, and I'm like, okay, that's why it's not working, because there's too many characters in there. So you got to make sure that it's 140 or less. And like we said earlier, we're trying to get them to go somewhere else. A retweet or an RT is repeating and crediting what someone else said. So retweeting is necessary when you're trying to spread the word. You're trying to get other people to let their followers know what you're trying to say. So you're not necessarily saying, if I said, you know, we're going to have, if Victoria had tweeted, we're having social media boot camp for ODOT or something like that, then I would just retweet that to show that Victoria said it first, and I'm just showing my followers what she had said, because not all followers are the same. Victoria has a different amount of followers than I do, and they're all different people. So you want to, and it does that automatically. The Twitter site does that automatically for you. You don't have to fix it or anything. So that's kind of nice. And we'll look at more live examples after we do the PowerPoint. A direct message, or a DM, is a private message. So Twitter is very public. It's something that everybody can see. So if you're creating tweets, everyone can see those. A direct message might be something that you use when you want to give your phone number or you want to give personal information that you don't want other people to see. With a direct message, that person has to be following you. So on all of these networks, they have different ways that they talk about the people who subscribe to you. So on Twitter, it's following and followers. Okay, so Facebook's different. They're all different, but following and followers. So if I say that, then you know what I'm talking about. And the Twitter stream is like the feed. So whenever you log into Twitter, so you go to twitter.com, you type in your Twitter name and your password. The stream is just the screen that you see whenever you log in. Those are all the people that follow you. Excuse me, that you're following. So that's what you would see. Sorry, this phone is going off. Okay, so followers, like I said earlier, those are people who choose to subscribe to your tweets. So this is an opt-in type of program. Just because I follow Victoria doesn't mean she has to follow me back. It's not like a friend on Facebook. It's not a mutual type of decision. So you can choose who you follow. A reply or an at mention is getting the attention of the person that you're speaking to. So if I want to, tell me your name again, sir. Victor. Victor. If I want to say, hey, Victor, where are we going to lunch after this? I would say, hey, at Victor, whatever his Twitter name was, so he could know that I was talking to him personally. If I had just said, hey, where are we going to lunch? That's kind of just a random tweet to anybody. So Victor would get a notification via email or his phone, whatever he had set it up at, so he could get those types of things and know that I was talking to him so he could talk back in a proper amount of time. And a hashtag. I don't know how savvy you guys are on Facebook, but there are people using hashtags on Facebook, and there's no real reason for them to be doing it other than they're trying to be silly. A hashtag is used in several different ways. Sometimes it's like the punchline of a joke or something that you're saying. It originally started as searchable text. So on Twitter, you can go and search for whatever it is that somebody has hashtagged. So say I hashtagged ODOT in my tweet that I created. And I go and I search the twitter.com website for ODOT. Every tweet that has ODOT in it will show up. The reason that people use hashtags is so they can find leads or find people that are talking about whatever they want to know about. So that's why people use them. However, a lot of the times they're used in the inappropriate or inaccurate manner. Not inappropriate, just they're using it as, say, I'm really excited. We're having a great day today. And then I might hashtag even though I was late or something like that. So just kind of telling you what happened after the fact, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let's say you guys don't have a Twitter. We're going to set you up a Twitter account, and here's how you would do that. So you want to choose your username. Most of the time, that is your name or your business name. There are some people out there that will say #1 mom, and I'm like, okay, I don't know who #1 mom is. It's not common for people to do that type of thing. Most people are themselves or their business, because this is not really a site where people want to be anonymous. It's a pretty lighthearted site, so people are more apt to be themselves or be their business. And you have 15 characters or less to do that, so just choose your name wisely. There are some people out there like, Ashley Smith. There's like trillions of Ashley Smiths out there, and someone probably already has the Twitter name Ashley Smith. So that person has to get creative and do a little something different with their name. Just a little I like random interesting facts, so you guys will have to excuse me because I'm going to give you lots of random interesting facts today. This fact is that even if I take the name Ashley Smith and I never say anything, I don't tweet or anything, that name will not be released until a year has passed without me saying anything. So you'll have to just really, even if you're not going to tweet, I would highly recommend that you go and at least secure your name so you can just keep it. So if it comes a time where you're ready and somebody's already taken it, then you're in kind of a pickle. See, that's what messes up my clicker.
Oh. I didn't realize it was resetting everything.
Yeah, what? Okay. All right, so more account settings. Your name should be your personal or your business name, your email address. I like to use an alternate email address if possible because they send a lot of emails. So if you are going to use your work email, just know that they're going to send emails every time someone mentions you or some of your, top followers have tweeted, like they're going to send you emails. So just be aware of that. Twitter privacy, this is optional. There's a little lock button that'll be on someone's Twitter account to show you that their account is locked. And what it means that it's locked is, like I said earlier, it's an opt-in program. So if I follow you, you can follow me. But if it's locked, I have to ask your permission. So some people do that. I don't really know why, but they do. And text tweets. Text tweets is really cool. So I see most people in here have the smartphones. So what you can do with text tweets is set up your Twitter account to go to your phone. So if someone mentions you, it automatically sends you a text. So you don't have to constantly look at the stream or go to the application every time. It's also a great way. I like to follow my competition on text tweets. So you can also follow certain people on there. So whenever they tweet, you get a text. So I can go on and look and see what they're talking about. I might not say anything, but at least I know like what's going on. I'm kind of ahead of the game there. Okay, notices. When it's going to notify you when someone starts following you, and it's going to send you an email that says, Tess Mack started following you. Here's how many followers she has, here's how many people she's following, here's what city she's from, a little blurb. It's going to tell you all that. I like to look at these emails because it kind of gives me a snapshot of who the person is. There are spammers on Twitter, and you can tell by their follow count. So they might be following 8,000 and they've got 4 people that follow them. That doesn't really work right. So you can just tell by that type of thing or their picture or their description, you can tell which people you don't want to follow. So it'll send you an email with all that information. Email me when I receive a direct message. This is really great too, because if somebody sends you a private message, you want to know, so you can go in and respond to them. So it'll send you an email for that. And then notify me when someone mentions me. You can turn this off. I turned it off because I have a lot of people that talk to me throughout the day. I don't want an email every single time that they talk to me. But I'm using the stream. I'm using text tweets and stuff like that, so I get the updates that way. So I've turned off the email notifications for that. So it's kind of just up to you, whatever you want to use. All right, on your profile. So you want to have your name, your location, and your website. So your biography is 160 characters or less. And for your business, it's just a quick snapshot of what you do or who you are, that kind of thing. Maybe your mission statement or something like that. A picture should be your logo or you if you're doing a personal one. No kids, no babies, no dogs, like none of that like it is on other sites. Twitter is you or your business, so you want to make sure that that's conveyed. A lot of people don't change their picture very often. It's just something that you just leave there, and because it's like brand awareness. If I see your picture every single time, I know that it's you. And then the max size is 700K, JPEG, PNG, or GIF. All right, so your design, you got your basic color versus your custom background. So there's like 7 or 8 different colors you can choose from, and those are given. The custom background is something that you can either do yourself if you're graphic design savvy, or you can purchase, and it basically just has a background of your company and maybe your email address or something like that. And then your tower, that's something I'll show you when we go to the live site. Okay, so now you're like, okay, great, I have a Twitter account. Now who shall I follow? Okay, well, you could use your database. So when you put in your email address to set up your account, it's going to automatically say, hey, you might know these people. So it'll automatically prompt you to do that. Mention it on Facebook or other networks, because people are not sitting down at the computer going, okay, who shall I follow on Twitter today? Like, they need to be reminded that you're doing it. So you might say on Facebook, hey, follow us on Twitter or something like that, so you can get more people to cross over. And you could always do this, which is what I did. You can find a friend that's been using Twitter for a long time and go in and look at who they follow and start following those people. It's probably the easiest thing to do because it just takes a long time to get your following up to where you want it to be. I've probably been using Twitter, I think 2 years, and I have like 1,200 people that follow me. So it just takes a little bit of time. Whoa. Okay. Now that you've got your account and you know who to follow, what should you tweet? Well, that's a great question. You want to tweet updates about upcoming events or products, things that you have new that are coming down the pipe, links to blogs or your website. Support your community. This is always really, really great thing to do if you've got community partners or other people that coincide with your business. It's always great to retweet them. So you can build that relationship and they'll retweet you. Send twit pics from your phone. This is a lot of fun. There's something called Instagram, which is another application that's only phone-based. So Instagram you can only use by your phone. And it's free. It's a free app.
It's a huge social media network.
Yeah. See, my camera guys know what's going on back there. It is. It's very important. You can download the application for free, and what it does is it just kind of changes the lens or the way that your photos look. So it might be vintage, 1970s. It might be black and white. It might, it might be whatever. You can blur it. So it's really cool. A lot of the guys, whenever, I don't know if you guys are huge basketball nuts like I am. I see this chick has a Thunder shirt on, so obviously she likes the Thunder. So when the Thunder was on the, when they were on the road last year, oh, awesome, perfect. When they were on the road last year in Miami, going back and forth, we were really anxious, wanting to know what was going on because we weren't there. And so a lot of the players were using Instagram to show us what was going on. And so you can follow people on Instagram to see what kind of pictures they have, and you can comment. It's not a major social media type site, but it's just fun to kind of catch up and see. He loves it. He loves it.
No, it's so
Yeah, they did.
because it's going to be everything is going to the phone.
It's very true.
Network in the future.
I don't use it a ton for business, but it is a great way to keep track chronologically of what's going on and just start a conversation. So definitely use that.
Tess, is tweeting really a business or is it personal?
It's both. It's both.
So do you have to
Tess, can you repeat
separate?
your question? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. The question is Twitter a personal or a business thing? And I said my answer to that is it's both. If you want to do it personally, you can do that, but businesses are also using it too.
Do you have to separate your business persona from your personal persona?
I think it's a great idea to separate your business from your personal, just because they're two different entities, so to speak. So, of course, every instance is different, but I think like if you're a consultant, which I am, and I have a firm, I'm not using them at the same time. I'm using myself as me and my business as my business. So
you have two Twitter
I have
accounts?
2 Twitter accounts. Yep.
Okay.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah, so if you're going to do things that are different other than just sending tweets, because you've got to break up that monotony a little bit. You can't just send tweets without sending pictures or videos or anything. You can't just do that because people will get kind of bored with that. So, and you can check in on Foursquare. This is fun too. I'm not sure if a lot of, people have different schools of thought as far as checking in is concerned. When I say check in, I mean tell people where you are. So when I got here to the campus, I checked in and told people I was at Francis Tuttle doing a seminar. I do that periodically whenever I go and speak. So people will know where I am. Some people don't like that. It's up to you. It's your personal preference. A lot of, it's kind of cool because especially on Facebook, people don't know where I'm traveling everywhere. And so when they see where I am, I have a friend that lives in Sand Springs. And I was in Sand Springs the other day and I checked in saying, hey, I'm in Sand Springs doing a boot camp. She was like, hey, let's have lunch. I totally didn't know you were coming here. So it's kind of just a way for, people to know where you are. And And people are looking at that stuff too. From a business standpoint, it's great because you're tapping into all of those other people's friends. So if I check in on Foursquare, Francis Tuttle got the credit that that's where I am. So now people can ask questions or be curious about where I am and then ultimately maybe come here. It works well for retail, restaurants, that kind of thing. So yeah, that too. You know, it just depends on, I mean, listen, I'm not that important, so I don't think I have any stalkers, but I could be wrong. Quality versus quantity. Okay, so reply to tweets from followers. This is a major deal. This is where a lot of people slip through the cracks. Well, I'm on Twitter and I tweet once a week and then I never say anything back to anybody and I forgot to reply to Victor. And so now 2 weeks later, Victor doesn't want to talk to me anymore because it's a done deal. Twitter is a very fast site. It's always going. When you go to sleep, people are tweeting. When you wake up, they're tweeting. When you're eating, it's just constant. It never sleeps. So it's very fast. And you can't wait, like maybe say on Facebook, if Victor said something to me yesterday, I replied today. That's socially acceptable. If he tweeted me yesterday and I replied 2 days or 3 days from now, it's over. It's done. There's no reason for me to really reply because if I'm looking for what you have, Victor, and I say, hey, Victor, call me today, man. I need what you have. And I wait 3 or 4 days, or you wait to call me. I've already found someone else to do what I need done. So you just have to make sure that if you're going to tweet that you keep up with it because people are on there looking for what they need. Retweeting community partners, like I told you guys earlier. Social tweets, these are also things that it just may be, hey, how's it going? You know, what's going on at ODOT? Just being social. Nothing, I don't necessarily need anything from you. I just want to say hey. Contests are really important. It works well. A lot of people say on Twitter, you know, hey, mention us on Twitter and get X amount off, or you know, whatever the case may be. However it works in your industry would be how you could work that. And the deals is the same way. So it works well with my retail folks or people that have tangible products. You know, if you retweet one of our tweets, then you could be entered to win a contest or something like that. So that just helps with spreading the word. Okay, so how can you get more followers? This is the most common question that people ask me on Twitter. You can be yourself. As far as being yourself, be you personally, but also you have a culture in your business, so you know, use that as your Twitter voice, what they would like to say, because everybody has a voice that they're using. And when you've got several people managing your social media, people have different voices. Me and Victoria, if we're doing the same Twitter account, we're going to talk differently. So you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as what voice you're going to use. Use the Twitter icon on all of your marketing materials. This is major too, because like I said, people aren't sitting down, you know, at Twitter and going, okay, let's see, who was at that conference yesterday? I think I'm gonna sit here and try to type in everyone's name. So if you've got that little bird on all of your marketing materials, even your business card, people are more apt to find you that way. Use Foursquare, like I said, that's optional. Be patient because it takes a while. When to retweet. So retweet when somebody has something important to say, breaking news, weather, etc. I would say I'm a technology baby, so I haven't really lived much life without technology. So this computer is going to irritate me all day. So I would say last year, we had a really bad storm where there was like tornadoes and stuff, and the power went out, and I fried my mom's computer on accident, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know if a tornado's coming or not, because we didn't have a weather radio. Like, I'm just sitting there, like, there might be a tornado coming towards me, I have no clue. So what I do, of course, I get on Twitter, and I'm following News 9, and News 9 is like tweeting like this, like, okay, the tornado's over here, and this, you know, these people, stay advised, and, you know, so they were like keeping everything up to date so I could know what was going on, because I literally had no other way of knowing where the weather was and if I was safe or not. So it works well with that. Use your manners and say thank you. It's always polite if somebody retweets you just to say, hey, thanks for the retweet. So, and if you want to be retweeted, please retweet. And it's very easy. So if you're wanting people to retweet, they don't necessarily know that you want them to do that. But if you have that at the end of your tweet, then people will be more apt to do that for you. Okay. Measure your success. So you can use shorter URLs like bit.ly.com, where you can say your website is really long and you don't want to use all of your characters on your website. You can go to bit.ly.com, put your website in, and it gives you a short code, about 7 or 8 different characters, where you can actually go in and see who's clicked on your website from that link. So this is a nice way for you to be able to see where traffic is coming from. And use your hashtags like we talked about earlier to measure your response in contests. There's a thing called trendy topics that I'll show you on the live site. Trendy topics are things that most of the world is talking about. So I'm sure the presidential debate is a trendy topic. You know, when Michael Jackson died, he was a trendy topic. You know, those types of things. I thought the Thunder was going to be a trendy topic when we were in the finals last year, but it didn't happen, so I was kind of bummed out about that. Okay, here's my don't list, because there's always a don't list. Please don't tweet about nothing, because people don't like that. Don't tweet once a week and think people should follow you, because that's not really how it works. More often than not, people only tweet when they have time, which is random and sporadic, and then they wonder why they only have 3 people that follow them. Well, that's because, you know, there's some work involved in this, so you're going to have to put in the work if you want it done. Don't follow 1 million people and have 7 followers, because people might think that you're a spammer. And don't beg for followers. People do this all the time. I need 10 more people to have 100. I need 8 more people, and you're like, okay, like people are going to follow you when they want to. So 9 tips for your business: be conversational. Follow people who are relevant to your industry or what you're doing. When people you know are on Twitter, mention them, talk to them. Use Twitter to ask questions. Be a good Twitter citizen, or what I like to say, Twitterson. It's kind of funny. Search Twitter for your business acquaintances. So that's always something that you can do. And of course, you could follow me. I am Social Media Mack or Test Mack. I don't necessarily tweet a ton from my business Twitter, but I tweet a lot from my personal Twitter. It's the only way that I can be myself, because being a social media person, everyone's always watching me when I say, you know, so I get to be myself on Twitter. Let's look at the actual site, shall we? If I could spell. All right. So we're going to log into my my business Twitter.
You should follow me.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Is that what the camera guy said? He's funny. I need a drink of water. Okay. So here is my Twitter account for business. And this is my login screen. So this was, like I said earlier, the stream. These are all the people that I follow. Here I have 1,680 tweets. I have 401 that I'm following, and I have 509 followers. So roughly it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 followers that you have, you might follow 1. So that way you keep it where it needs to be. It shows you down here kind of like suggestions, like you follow these people, so maybe you know these other people. It'll do that automatically for you. If I press my little @ button here, the connect, it's going to show me all of the mentions that people have mentioned me in, and also my recent new followers. So here are the people that have followed me recently. And then here are some of the tweets that I've received. So like right here, this was a retweet from Rococo's, which is a restaurant here in Oklahoma City. I am having a lunch there. I'm hosting a lunch, and I mentioned their name. And then what they did is they saw that, and then they retweeted it because they want people to know that, you know, we're partners or whatever. So they were just being courteous and retweeting that for me. The hashtag button it says discover right here. So you can type anything into this search bar right here, and we can search for anything, and it'll show you the tweets in chronological order. But just know that there's so many people tweeting at one time that it's going to constantly change. And then here, the me button is my profile. So here is my business profile, and my website is here, and all the tweets that I've created, my most recent images that I have uploaded, and my background is actually a tile picture that I have of a logo, and I'll show you how to do that. So you go into settings, which is my little wheel here, and you just, let's see, you would go over here to design, and then see here's those themes that they have automatically, or you can upload your own. Now, another random fact that you guys probably don't want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. If you ever change your business name, you can change your Twitter name. So that's kind of cool, and you don't lose anything. Versus Facebook or something like that, you can't do that. So if you change your name, or I get married or whatever, and I want to change my name, then it's just a simple switch, and it takes maybe like 5 to 6 hours for them to change it. So here's my email that I have set up with it, and it gives me all these different things that I can choose. There's the mobile, so if you go into your settings and you click mobile, you type in your number there, and then it gives you the chance to have text tweets. It's really, really simple. If I want to create a tweet, I just press the little pin, the feather pin, and then I can type. And then I can press tweet. Maybe not. I don't know why. This computer is crazy.
Maybe the school may have blocked
Ah,
social media.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, at least I can show you. I've had it worse where we couldn't do anything. So, yeah, so that's how you would send a tweet. If you want to reply to a tweet, you could just press reply, and then you would send a tweet from there. So it's pretty easy. But if you see down here, like this is one of those shorter URLs that I was telling you about that they've shortened because it's probably a really long address for the web. But here it's only 7 or 8 characters long. So you get to shrink down your characters so you can use more characters in your tweet. As far as business is concerned, this is a great way to hook up with, like I said, partners or prospects, get leads, but it's something that does take a little bit of time to do. So my recommendation as far as how often should you tweet, I always say that at least 2 times a day is ideal. Those in between those times, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. is also really good too. Unless you have a business where you're working at night or on the weekends, something like that. So does anybody have any questions, comments? Are you guys asleep? Awake, maybe? All right, well, why don't we take a break? It's 10 on the nose, which is really awesome. So let's take about a 5-minute break for me to switch what's going on and turn on the lights because people are passing out. So, all right, let's talk about Facebook. Who has a personal account? That's it? Just Victoria and you? This microphone is irritating me. Okay. Tell me what you think about it.
Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
I think I liked it better before they changed the latest stuff.
Yeah?
I don't like that you can like something one time and then say fashion bug keeps showing up every time. I don't know how to get that off of there.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I feel a little bit invaded when people I have no idea who they are want to be your friend. And there's no way to look them up and find out just who I think I know this
So she says, just so the people on the video can know what you're talking about, that she feels invaded whenever people ask her to be friends on Facebook that she doesn't know. So we can address that today. It is a little creepy. There is an algorithm that Facebook uses that for some weird reason or another you might know that person based on the other people that you know. It's really, it's kind of freaky. So you just have to just know that in advance. There's lots of people that I went to elementary school with that would ask me to be friends with them. And I'm like, how did you even find me? Well, it's based on the other people that I'm already connected to and lots of other things. So that is a valid point.
If there was a way to say, I used to be Debbie Smith or something like
Right.
that.
And there is. Anyone else? You like your Facebook?
How do you get those commercial things off?
Go to your settings.
That's the advertising.
Yes.
Yeah, there's really no way to get rid of those on the side.
No, I mean the ones that say that just every time I log onto my account, there's something from Fashion Bug or something from.
You might be following those pages, and you may need no.
There's a little drop down. There's a little drop down arrow.
It depends on what setting,
can
where
change
you
the
have it.
settings.
There's called a news feed. That's on your view.
We're going to talk about all of that. I'm just kind of getting where everyone is as far as Facebook is concerned. You have an account?
I have an account, but I only went into it a couple of times, to be perfectly honest. And I did get responses from somebody in another state that wanted to know if I was the Judy Robbins that used to live in Colorado and was married to so-and-so. And I thought, this is not for me.
Was that you?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just
a fairly-
checking.
A fairly common name.
Right.
So I just anticipated a lot of stuff. And so I just kind of.
Victor? No
I have
Facebook?
one, I have one.
You do?
Yeah, I do,
You use it?
yeah. Yeah, I follow my kids.
He follows his kids.
That's the way I got one.
Yeah.
My nieces call me a Facebook stalker.
Yeah, or creeper. They'll call you creeper. Well, all of those things we can address today. Facebook it's a necessary evil. It is for business especially. It's something that most people are using now, other than Yellow Pages or Google. They're using Facebook to get referrals and to get information. So when I talk to businesses that aren't utilizing Facebook, I encourage them to at least have a business account. You may not want to do it personally, and that's totally fine, but at least for your business, because it's a really great way for you to get your name out there. And a lot of people, like I said, are using it for referrals. So we're going to talk about Facebook for business. More interesting trivia that you don't want to know. Facebook started in 2004. And it was a site that only college kids could use. You had to have an EDU web address, or excuse me, EDU email address to receive a Facebook account. So I was one of those kids. I was in college in 2004. So I got my account, and we were using it for homework, or which professors you wanted to use, or study groups or something like that. And then it evolved after that to high school kids. They could use it. And now my grandma has a Facebook. So it's evolved very quickly. She doesn't use it in the right capacity, and it kind of irritates me sometimes. But hey, At least she's on there. She's playing games and asking me to play Farmville, and I'm like, no, please just leave me alone. So there's lots of different things that Facebook can do, but I'm going to give you some technical stuff that you might want to know. So here's a little chart for the average Facebook user. The average age is 37. I don't know if you knew that, but lots of people think that it's a kid's thing, and it's not. Those people that are playing games, grandma that's bored all day, she's out there doing all that. That's her thing. That's what she does. So yeah, those people are out there using it too. So who is on Facebook? That person in the middle is your client or your referral. That was a joke that you guys. I'm done joking with you because it's not working. I know, I'm like, ugh, stop, snap out of it. Okay, so pages versus profiles. This is really interesting, and I need to let you know beforehand that this PowerPoint is with the assumption that you already have a Facebook account. So we're not going to go through the steps of setting one up. There are some intermediate level steps and there are some advanced steps. So I will try to warn you before I start talking about it. Some of the things that I say you might not even have a clue, and if that's the case, then raise your hand and we can talk about it. So.
I want a friend OKC Happy Hour.
Okay, well, OKC Happy Hour was actually a long time ago. I helped them with their stuff, but this is an example of what not to do, so that's why it's there. OKC Happy Hour is an entity, so it's a business or it's a club. It's not a person, and what they have done here is they've set up their page as a person. And so there's pros and cons to doing that. And some people freak out when they hear about this, but it kind of just depends on your industry and the potential of what type of fans you could have. So with a page, like you can see, or with a profile, you can tell that this is a profile because it has friends right here. And this is even the old style, but it shows more friends stuff there, and it shows the poke, so you know that it's a person. Now, the pros of having an incorrect account set up is that you can add friends, okay? So this is, when we say friends, that is a mutual agreement. I want to be friends with Victoria, and she's going to be friends with me. She doesn't have the option to not be my friend if I connect with her. So on Facebook, you've got friends and you've got fans. So friends are on the personal side, fans are on the business side. So since they set theirs up incorrectly, they have friends. But the cons to that is you can only have 5,000 friends. And once you hit that 5,000, you're maxed out. You can't do anything else. And those people are not transferable. So when you want to go switch over to a page, which can have an infinite amount of fans on it, you start from zero. So it just kind of depends. I know that people have set things up wrong and they're like, oh, well, I got 1,800. And I'm like, you can start over now or you can start over later, but it just depends. Some of the rural communities that I teach in, they have a town of 4,000, so they might not ever get to 5,000. And for them, that's okay. But in your industry, you just have to decide which one works for you if you've already set it up and it's not set up right. So Facebook's done a lot of changing, and it's not done changing. It's going to continue to change. And that's good old Mark, the guy that owns the place. He likes to move things around. Has anyone heard that MySpace was bought by Justin Timberlake? Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're trying to like revamp it, and I'm like, I don't know about all of that, but we'll see. MySpace is still used. It's used primarily with people that are in the music industry because it's a really good way for them to put out their music and listen to their playlists and stuff. So those people are still using it. I don't even remember my password, so I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I might have to restart, but you know, you never know. It might work. So your settings. This is the settings of a business page, so you'll want to go in and check your settings to make sure that everything is on the up and up. I had to disable people uploading stuff to my page because they were advertising themselves for free. And so I had to go into my settings, which is on edit settings on your business page, which you can't see. This is a screenshot of the actual settings. But if you're on your business page, you would just go to edit settings edit page, and then you could see all this stuff. So you would just uncheck those things to be able to choose which things you didn't want to do. Whoa. Okay, tips for effective pages. Fill out all of the company information. This is very important because, like I said earlier, people are using Facebook like a Yellow Pages now. And let me tell you why. Because when, excuse me, I need a drink of water. Because if I'm looking, tell me the name of your business.
Tulsa Land Surveying.
Tulsa Land Surveying. Okay, so I want to talk to them. I need to call them and ask them something. And then I get on Google and I type that in, and there's like 20 different scenarios that I can like click on to try to figure it out. It's easier for me to go to Facebook and look up their number or their address because it's in the same spot every single time. On every Facebook page, all that information is in the About section. Versus they might not have a website, or the Yellow Pages has the wrong phone number, or they moved, or whatever the case may be. You never know. All websites are different, so the contact us is even different. I might have to email them in order to talk to them. So as far as Facebook is concerned, if you're filling out all that info, people can get to you really quick. So you want to make sure that that's filled out. I've seen pages where the number is wrong, and I call them, and it's wrong. So I'm pretty much like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you if I have to go and try to research what your new phone number is. We live in that age where you got 10 seconds to tell me or to do what I need you to do, and if you can't do it, then somebody else will. So just know that not everyone's like that, but a lot of people are going to that, hence the smartphones. I mean, why do you think people have smartphones? I could always go to my office and check my email when I get back, but it'd probably be easier just to do it on my phone. So just keep that in mind. I know she's looking at me like, oh, keep that in mind. Your cover photo, which we'll look at the dimensions in a minute. This is one of the changes. So the cover photo is that big photo that's in the background, and then you've got your little photo, which is your thumbnail that's in the foreground. Your thumbnail will be the photo that every time you make a post will show up. But your cover photo can be something like your logo, or maybe it's a photo that you put into Photoshop and you've done some other things to. You've added your number to, or something like that. Maybe you've put your services. So this is just another way for you. It's kind of like a billboard for you to show some other ways that you guys are there for the customer. And there's the applications and custom built tabs, which is really great too. Depending on your level of knowledge in HTML coding or graphic design, you can do different things with your Facebook design. So you can actually go in and build custom tabs that look cohesive to your whole brand. Or you could hire someone to do that, which is what I would do because I don't know anything about graphic design. So it just looks really nice, and it gives people a feel of, wow, you know, they've got it together. They know what they're doing. So this is the dimensions for the cover photo and for the thumbnail. So your cover photo is the big one, and then your profile picture or your thumbnail will be that smaller one. This is what I was talking about, like the custom tabs. This is an example. So she made her cover photo really big and has branded herself. And then her smaller thumbnail is her logo, so every time she posts, her logo will be there. And these are the custom built tabs. So she built these tabs to say, read my blog, join my email list, and tell my friends. So it just looks kind of nice. It's all the same. If you don't have something like that, then it's kind of random, and it has different buttons as far as your page is concerned. Okay, so here's an advanced step that might irritate you, because it irritates me. So this is a post that I created, I would say a couple weeks ago. And I have 1,284 friends or fans on my page. Okay, so 1,284, right? Look at this number right here. What does that say?
117 looked at it.
117 saw it. Okay. Why? If I have 1,284 fans. Because Facebook wants me to push this button and pay for everyone to see that. Yeah, that's what they've done. Facebook will always be free, but they're going to find ways to make money, and that's one of the ways that they've done that. So if I push promote, it'll say, okay, for $5, you can promote this to 1,000 to 3,000 people. But for $10, you can promote to 4,000 to 6,000 people.
Is it $2 a month?
No, a post.
A post.
So that did not go to all 1,250
Nope.
people?
Nope.
So
And the algorithm, you don't know who those 117 people are either. You don't get to choose who the people are. It's random.
So I got an email from one of the pages
Huh?
telling me to put them in my
Interest.
list, so that I would be sure to see
Right.
all of their
Right.
posts.
And that's what you're going to have to do with every page that you want to see all their posts, which is another step personally that you have to go in and do. So for the businesses, they're making it pretty difficult in order for you guys to get max exposure. It wasn't like this 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So just be aware that that's why I have people calling me asking me, 89 people are only seeing this. What's going on? That's what's going on. So if you've got partners or fans that aren't seeing everything, then they need to go into their personal interests and like your page and put it in their interests in order for them to see everything. So I was pretty upset about that because, what next? You want to see my photo? It's $4 a photo? Who knows what they're going to do, but they never cease to amaze me for sure. Okay, so this is an advanced step. So if you are an advanced Facebook user, this will apply to you. Tagging people or tagging businesses in posts is effective because it allows you to tap into their network, so to speak. So if I want to like Victor's business, I can like his business, and then I can tag him in a post. So all of the people on his page can see that I tagged him. So it's kind of like a cross-promotion type deal. The way that you would tag in a post is first you have to make sure that you like the business as a business. So you have to use Facebook as a business, go in and like the other business, and then go back to your page and start typing their name in. So you type in your status, and you'll press the @ symbol and start typing in the name, and it'll prompt you like it's prompting this right here. It'll automatically know who you're trying to talk to or talk about. So that's how that works. It works good because if Victor goes and likes my business as his business and then mentions me, all of the people that are on my page that see that, he can get cross promotion that way. So it works good. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, claim your identity. So who are you? If you haven't gone in and claimed your identity, you are a random URL that Facebook has assigned to you because everyone has to have their own unique URL in order to have a page. So you might be, your name, 8675, and then some more stuff, and then like something that nobody would ever remember. So in order to get your vanity URL, which is facebook.com/socialmediamack, that's my vanity URL. You would have to go into facebook.com/username. And once you do that, it's going to prompt you which page do you want to change the name of, and then you go in and you put it in. I will tell you that if you go in and do it and you do it wrong, it's stuck forever. I've done it before, so don't do it. So make sure you're spelling everything right. So you only get one shot on that, and if you change, like I said, you change your your business name, then you can apply to change the name of your page. I haven't done that personally yet, so I don't know what the process is, but I can only assume that it's not as easy as it sounds. So go to facebook.com/username and do that for sure. Okay, claim your location. This is, I would say, an intermediate step, something that most people can do. We were talking earlier about stalkers and people knowing where you are at all times. That's what we're talking about here, your location. So if you haven't claimed your location for your physical location, it looks like this. So somebody has created this from their GPS, from their phone. So if I wanted to check into Francis Tuttle, but I couldn't find the Francis Tuttle that was already created, I could create one. Nobody has to have permission to do that. You can just create it. Which is why when you go some places and you check in, there's like 8 different ones you can choose from because people can't find them, so they make new ones. So in order for that to stop happening, you want to claim your business. So the way that you do that is you must be the business owner. So you have to be the person that runs the joint. Facebook asks specific questions that only the owner or the people that work there would know. And once you've answered those questions, then you're good to go. And then what that will do is link that check-in to your actual page. And so chances are that if you've got a physical location, somebody has already created a check-in. You just have to go in and fix all that information. Anybody, do you guys have physical locations? Yes? No? Yes? Okay. Okay. Your business-to-business likes. So like we were talking about earlier, you have to like a business as a business. So that's what this does. It does show all of the business likes that you have on your page. So you want to be real careful not to like any inappropriate or anything of that sort type of business because it's going to show up as you endorsing that, basically that page. So be careful with that. But all you have to do is use Facebook as your business and go in and like the other one. So it's real easy to do. And I'll show you how to do that. Here are some personal settings that you might like that maybe you don't already know or maybe you do know. You can unsubscribe to friends. She's looking like, yeah, I know that because I do it already. Everybody in this room, if you're using Facebook personally, has a couple people that you just wish would disappear. You don't necessarily want to unfriend them because then they would know that you unfriend them. But you don't want to see everything that they say every 5 seconds. So you can go in and unsubscribe to those people. And what that does is it basically just allows you to go and look at them whenever you want. But you don't get those updates every 2 seconds. So it's kind of nice that way. Facebook timeline, I know you guys have seen. On your personal, where it shows so-and-so got married 1984, or so-and-so was born, or I went to college and graduated. I mean, it just has this timeline. I mean, it's basically trying to do your life chronologically. So you'll have those types of things going on. And sometimes it's random, like the way that it shows up, it might be a post from 2010 over here on the right, and everything else is over here chronological. It's just really, really funky. Don't ask me how that happens, but it does. Your real-time ticker is that top right-hand, looks like a Twitter feed because it's constantly going. They've integrated that so that way if you're not seeing everything that everyone's doing, you can at least look at what's going on at the top right-hand corner. And you can pick who you share info with. So if you want to make lists, you can only share with friends or only share with family or whatever, colleagues. Because when you ask someone to be friends, it says, basically, how do you know this person? Do you know them from high school or college or whatever? So you put those people in categories and then you can talk to whoever you want to talk to. Okay, so you're on Facebook. Now what? What are you supposed to do? Well, content is king. It's very, very, very important, especially since now people are wanting, Facebook is wanting you to promote posts. It's even more important now for you to have the best content possible because only 1/4 of the people that actually are on your page are seeing what you're saying. So make sure that you have a call to action. If I had something to say like, we're really excited to be here this morning at Francis Tuttle, the most I'm going to get is a like or a thumbs up, because there's no reason for anyone to say anything about that. Now, if I was to impose a question or do something intriguing, then people they're more apt to say things and to comment and respond. Frequency. So like I was talking about your Twitter posts 2 times a day. Facebook, I'd say once a day, in between that 10 and 3 time frame. And use an alternate source to get more fans. So you might have an email marketing campaign that you're using, or a text campaign or something. I've seen billboards that say, like us on Facebook. I mean, people are spending lots of money to get more fans on their Facebook page. Do what?
For their business?
Yep. Have a sign up in your office or storefront. If you've got people that actually come into where you're doing your work, then people can sign up for your Facebook page there. And tag people in posts to gain maximum exposure, because ultimately your circle is only so big. You've got to tap into those other circles. That's how you're going to get more people to know what you're doing. And with that, when you tag people in posts or you're tagged, then other people get to see you. I hope your head doesn't feel like that. I hope you don't feel like her. I try not to overload you guys. You know, I try to help you and hope that you understand what we're talking about. Let's look at the actual site, if you will. So I've already logged into my account, and I am on my business page, and I can tell that because right here on my top, it says I am commenting and liking as social media. Does this have a pointer? I mean a laser?
I'm sorry, what?
Does it have a laser
Yes, I believe so.
somewhere?
I think it's
Yes, sweet. Okay, I got it. Okay, right here it says that I am posting, commenting, and liking as social media Mack. I can change that to myself, me personally. And the reason that you would do that is maybe you've got 4 or 5 people that run your page, and not everybody knows. Like, I'll give you an example. Like if ODOT was doing it, and there was like 6 of us running the ODOT page, not everybody knows who works there because it's huge. So I might want to be myself on the ODOT page to kind of get people excited or talking or something like that. So you can always switch your voice, which is why they have this voice button right here now. You can switch the voice so that way you can be yourself. They didn't used to have that, so it was difficult. Right here are my notifications, which are new as well. So it's showing me recent activity, people liking my posts, people talking to me, commenting. Here, this is good too now. You can send a business a message. So it's a really nice feature. You couldn't do that in the past. You always had to know who worked there in order to send them a message. But now anybody can send a message to a business. Here's that edit page button that we were talking about earlier. So if we go there, we can see all the different edits. My new likes, so here is showing me who's liked me most recently. My insights are here. Insights are like analytics. So if I want to see who saw what posts and things like that, then I can look there. If I go to edit page, I have all of these different things I can do. Update my info, manage my permissions. The admin roles is really cool too, because now you can just have people, say you've got an intern or someone in college or whatever that's you want running the page, but you don't want them to have full access. You can choose what their role is on the page in order for you to kind of monitor what they're doing. So that's kind of cool. The activity log, and then if I want to use Facebook as the business, I can switch the view right there. All right, so here's my cover photo. Here's my my thumbnail. Here's my about section. And as you can see here, I have claimed my spot, so I'm there. And this is what shows up on every page. So people have that really easy access of the phone number and the website and all of that. And then I have a little bit about here and then some more basic info there. I'm going to kill you, Victoria, if you're taking a picture of me.
I'm trying to learn Instagram.
Oh, I will tell you that if I forgot to make this joke, not that you guys would laugh anyway because you're a non-laughing crowd, but I always say that if you have a picture that you look awful in, Instagram it, and you look amazingly hot all the time. So that's what I do if I have an awful picture. Okay, so here I'm showing you that I have, I've grown 1,288 fans. And then my buttons are kind of all janky because I don't have any special buttons there. So I've got my map, join my mailing list, top fans, things like that. If I want to, no, it's not going to show me that. If this wasn't my page, it would have a message button, but since I'm the owner of the page, it doesn't have it there. So here on this page, what we're seeing here, these are the people that have talked about me on my page, and these are the posts that I've created. Make sense? I want to show you something really cool. And it's totally irrelevant to my, well, I wouldn't say totally irrelevant, but it's a picture that I posted a while back. Hello. Why is this? See, now it's being crazy again. It's just taking forever. But I posted a picture that I hope I can show you if this thing would go. And it's about entrepreneurship, but I want to show you how many people shared it. It was crazy. I found it on Pinterest, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I was like, oh, that's cool. I think I want to share that on my page. And the response that I got was like super major. But I'm not sure if it's going to allow me to show that to you or not. So while we're looking at that, let's look at the promote. Remember we were talking about that earlier. So 147 people saw this. But if I want more people to see it, I can pay $5 or I can pay $10. It automatically has my credit card on file, so it's going to automatically withdraw that money immediately. And that's just for one post, not for like the whole thing. This is for this particular thing that I said. So
like if you were doing a big Christmas sale.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you know what? I might do a beta test and do one just to see how it works and if it works, because I need to know. But that's just something about me spending money on one thing I'm not really keen on. The camera guy has a question or a comment, so we're going to go ahead and let him speak.
You guys can just think of any brand out there. They spend millions of dollars just so you know that brand. And Facebook's just kind of helped little businesses grow through learning brands through Facebook. That's why they've implemented that pricing stuff. So.
I mean, that's kind of up to you on how you want to spend your money on branding. I think that it's a joke that I have to pay for the people that are already on my page to see what I've said. I mean, they've already said that they like me, so I don't really know why I have to pay for them to double like me. Just saying, I'm not really sure why.
Can I explain how it works? That algorithm you're talking about? Like, let's say I'm not on Facebook 24 hours a day, and I have a feed. Let's say you pay that extra $5 or $10. It will wait, since I followed you, it will wait to post that as soon as I log back in at the top of my feed, so I will see it. Otherwise, it just gets down the level
right.
If you're not priority.
Right. Oh, here it is. Okay, so check this out. I didn't pay for this post, and 222 people saw it. So here was what I posted. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. And people were like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I got 27 shares, okay? A share is like if someone likes something, kind of like the retweet process. A share is that on Facebook. And all these people were sharing it, and some people were saying, like, you know, putting things in there, like this person said amen, or this person said, you know, they gave me credit for that. But other people were just resharing it. So from my share, this person got 17 shares from the one thing that I did. So I have to go back into account that all of their people are sharing it, and those people are sharing it. So it's just something that I started that basically is just out there like crazy. So I got 27 shares, and some of these people, I don't even know who they are. Like, I have no clue. I've never met them in my entire life. Don't know what they stand for, but it was kind of cool. But to see how all of that comes back full circle to the one person that started it was kind of cool. So I'm not really sure if I can't really go back and you know, I'm sure I could go back and follow all of it back to me, but that's a lot of stuff to go back and look at. So, but that's how that goes back to you going outside of your circle. That's how that goes. So you just have to keep that into play. I do agree with what you have to say as far as branding is concerned. I do agree with that. I don't agree with having to pay for that, though. That's just, I'm never going to change. I'm never going to change my thought on that. Okay, so let's see. We talked about shares. Here's a recommendation spot here. So if people want to recommend me, they have. I haven't recommended anyone personally, so I thought that was kind of cool that they could do that. Here are my likes. So those are the businesses that I like. Like I said, be careful with those. And then it just goes on from there. So if I want to click Manage Page, I can go to Update Info. And then that's where you put in all that info. If you haven't already put in all of the information for your business, that's where you'd put it in. Insights. So it shows me the overview in really cool type of flow chart type. Right here I have my weekly reach, the people that talk about it, and then the posts. So kind of look at this number right here. Friends of fans, that's how many people I have there, which is kind of cool, 636,000. So that's the potential of who I could reach as far as my posts are concerned. You can actually export this data if you are a numbers person and you need to see that. But that's the business side of it in a nutshell. If you wanted to, like she was saying some stuff about her personal account, if you want to go in and mess with that, you go into privacy settings and you go in and you figure all this stuff out. You can choose who sees what. So go in there and play around with it. Here's that news ticker that I was talking about where things just keep going up and up and up, kind of like Twitter, like I was talking about. This is the news feed here in the middle. And if you want to type a status update, you can do it there. I like the questions button. I think it's kind of cool. I had someone ask a question. I'm in part of a group, and we're trying to figure out what day it would work best for us to get together. So the lady created a question and said, what day works best for everybody? And she would put like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then you could just check which one works best for you. And you can see who said what day. So just a different way for you to switch up your content so you're not always just constantly typing, that you've got other ways that you can engage people, so to speak. The two things that people like the most on social networking is photos and videos. So if you've got some different things that you can share in that regard, that would be great because it really sparks conversation. Let's see, Victor, what industry are you in?
Engineering.
Okay. And then you guys, I forgot your name. What's your name? Rachel. What industry are you guys?
Land surveying,
Okay.
engineering.
So you guys are going to have to get a little creative with this type of stuff. But at least you know how it works now. I think that it would be great. I think that people really like to know facts, or I know that you guys are working a lot with other corporations, so you're having to, get with them. You're not necessarily promoting to the public. That's not what you guys are doing. So I think you guys posing yourselves as the experts would be a great idea, because people have to buy whatever you're offering, but they want to buy from the person that they like the best, or that has the best product and can give them the best deal. So if you can pose yourself as an expert in that regard, and then give them the different things that they need, like photos, videos, web links, whatever the case may be, I think that that would work really well. You guys have any questions, concerns for Facebook?
How do you connect all this stuff together? Do you connect it all to your website? How do you do that?
Her question was, how do you connect everything? And I need you to clarify a little bit more on that, because
Well, you've got Twitter, and you've got Facebook, and you've got LinkedIn, and you've got your website, and you've got your blog, and you've got all these things, but how do you get them to be cohesive and work?
Okay, so the way that you're able to make this a cohesive thing is, one, you would definitely want to create a plan. So there's a thing called the social media strategic plan that I would highly suggest every business create. And it may just be very basic, but there are benchmarks and different things that you can come up with that will allow you to know what track you're on and where you're trying to go, especially if you've got several people that are managing this, because not everybody's going to be on the same page until you guys talk about it. So a plan would be great. Once you've done that, definitely tying it all back to the website is a good idea. Like I said earlier, you're trying to get them to become a customer or become a referral, and all of this is dumping into the one place where they can see everything, which is your website. They can go in and do research or review anything that they want to review as far as your website is concerned. So this is just a portal to get them there so they can look at other things. So yeah, as far as, there are some people that have a school of thought that, well, I just want to post the same thing on every single site. I want one tool that's going to make posts to Twitter and to Facebook and to LinkedIn and to YouTube, all of that at the same time. And my thought on that is, you can do that. It doesn't work as well because each audience is different on those networks, and you have to speak in a different way on each network. So you can still say the same thing, the same concept, but it has to be said in different ways depending on what network you're on, if that makes any sense. So there will be people out there that tell you, oh, there's tools out there, you can push a button and it'll go to all of them. That is true. That's not my recommendation personally, because the people on Twitter are not the people that are on Facebook, or not the people that are on LinkedIn, so it's just kind of a different deal. So, any other questions, comments? Sir, comment? No? Okay. Let's check, before we take a break, let's check out if this was even viable for you. Pinterest, which is pin and interest put together. And like I said, I want to reiterate that not every network is for every business. So just keep that in mind, but you can get creative and do different things. So Pinterest, it's part of the agenda because it's not necessarily something that every business needs, so that's why we're just going to go briefly over it. But Pinterest is pin and interest put together. Imagine cutting out pictures of a magazine and then posting them on cork boards, something like that. That's what this is. This is a virtual cork board. So you're pinning images from websites onto these boards. And it works really well for retail. It works really well for people that have tangible products. It's a little bit more difficult for people that have concepts or consultants that are trying to sell that way, because then you're having to use infographics and things like that that not everybody can understand. So if you've got different photos that you can put on there, then that would be great. The good news is if you post a photo, then it's going back, it's giving credit back to the person that posted it. So don't think that if I post a photo and then Rachel uses it, that Rachel can say it was hers. She can't do that. She would have to give credit to me. So that's how that works. So this is a pin that somebody pinned, and as you can see here, it has the website in which the pin was from. So the pictures have to be hosted somewhere on a website or something like that so we can know where to go back to. And then here is the caption. A lot of people use this caption for their SEO, search engine optimization. So that way when people are searching for pins in this search box, their pins pop up. Just like everything else, there's the SEO on Pinterest as well. So you would use that for your SEO, and then it shows who pinned it first, then it shows who liked it, and then who repinned it. So it's always going to show who did it first. It's going to give that credit. Pinterest works really well because people are visual. They want to see stuff, and that's how this works. I'm going to log in really quick. There's different boards that you can have. There's no limit as to how many boards you can have. I have 8 boards. I know people that have 30 boards. I don't really know how you keep track of all that, but you can go as detailed or as vague as you would like. So, and I'm using Pinterest strictly for personal use, so just know that. I have 8 boards, like I said, and they're all different. I have a profile, which is quick, and then I go to the Pinterest website. I'm following people on Pinterest. I used my Facebook account to create this, so it automatically followed everyone that was on Pinterest that was on my Facebook account. So just know that if you set it up from there, that's kind of how it goes. You have automatic follow people that you can follow. And don't ever use Pinterest when you're hungry, because it's a bad idea, because there's so much food on there. It makes you so hungry. And I do it sometimes before lunch. I'm like, man, this is not good. So there's lots of different things on here, lots of recipes, lots of ideas for your house, lots of do-it-yourself projects, just kind of fun stuff. I know that Cubids uses Pinterest quite a bit, and they're a pretty big company, so I like to use them as an example. But they have different things here. You know, they've got a guy's board, women's fashion, electronics, lifestyle. So they are using Pinterest to promote their products as well, and they're using the different boards to do that. There are guys on Pinterest, don't get me wrong. Lots of people think that it's just stay-at-home moms that have nothing to do. That is so not true. There are guys that use Pinterest, and I follow a few of them. Ironically, the only thing that they're pinning is motorcycles and women, so I'm not really sure how that's really, benefiting society, but anyway. So they've got lots of different things here. They've done it well. I think they have a board where some of their customers can actually pin some things that they've created or they've done. So it's a really great way to interact and just use visual aids to promote your products. So might not work for you, but it's another network that you can think about. So let's take another break, and then we'll run into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a little lengthy, so take a break now. The good news about LinkedIn is that it's one and done. So once you've set it up once, you don't really have to mess with it much after that, so that's good. So anyway, I'll give you like 5 minutes. Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about LinkedIn, which is what I like to call the professional Facebook. It's you as a professional, what you've done, your achievements, where you went to school, you know, that kind of thing. So with that, I have a dummy account here that I use that's only been set up but hasn't really been used. So I like to look at that one first, and I also like to pull myself up here so we can compare notes. Okay, so this is the dummy account, and as you can see here, this is, hold on. Right here is your news feed. So we've got news feeds basically on all of these networks. The news feed is here. Your status updates go here. On LinkedIn, it's not as common to do status updates and things like that as it is on all the other sites, because people aren't really looking at that type of information. They're looking for people via the search bar here. So don't feel like you have to update LinkedIn all the time. I would say at least check your account once a day. I'm not saying that you have to do anything to it. Maybe check your messages, or if you've got invitations, something like that. So on LinkedIn, the people that you're linked to are called connections. So if someone says connect with me on LinkedIn, that's what they're wanting you to do. And you'll have your connections will be up here. They'll be showing you who wants to connect with you, basically who's giving you an invitation to connect with them. So this is the newsfeed. Let's look at the profile. So the profile, right here, what she has here is her name, the photo that she hasn't added, and where she's worked. She could put other things there, her school. So basically, like I said, this really hasn't been filled out as much as it should be. It's 45% complete. So you would want to put all of your information there. If we flip over to my page, you can see that all of that information has been filled out. So it has my current employer, and my previous employers. There. Okay. Next, like I said earlier, that your LinkedIn account is a one and done type deal, so you don't have to continually update it unless you change jobs or you got another degree or something. So the next thing is your summary, and this is by default, okay? So by default, the next thing is summary. So what you would do is you push add summary, and it gives you this little box here that you get to type in. Well, how are you supposed to know what to type, right? We'll go back to that in a minute. Then you've got your experience. So her experience is here of everywhere that she's worked. Applications, you can choose to put in apps if you want. Recommendations, those are what most people on LinkedIn are looking for. Those are like endorsements. So if Victoria wants to recommend me after this training and tell everyone how wonderful it was and how they should all do it, she's going to do that. She's going to put a little recommendation there for me. Education, like I said, where you went to college, and then your additional info. These are movable, so you can move them, which is kind of cool because you want to make sure that your profile is saying, wow, look at me. I'm the greatest person in my industry. That's what you're trying to do with this LinkedIn profile. So let's look at my profile versus this one that hasn't been really updated. Okay, so the first thing you see here are my recommendations, right? And if at any time you're having a bad day, you can go to your LinkedIn account and look at everything nice that everyone has said about you. So I do that occasionally. I have 18 recommendations, so it's kind of nice. I mean, what that shows the person that's looking at this is, first of all, here's who I am and here's what people say about me. The 18 people that have said, hey, we like her and we want to do business with her. So remember how we were looking earlier about moving those boxes? You want to move your recommendation box to be first. And then here,
So I have a question.
yeah.
On ratemyprofessor.com, I don't get to decide what they say about me. On LinkedIn, do I get the chance to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, that's one of the little topics we're going to cover. No problem. So next is my summary. So after you've seen that I'm the most amazing person ever, then you get to go to my summary to see what I'm really all about. Now, as I showed you earlier, remember the summary box from previous? It was blank. There was nothing in there. You have to create your own stuff. I went to a LinkedIn seminar in California a couple of years ago, and they gave us all of these good tips that I'm allowing you guys to have for free that I paid for. So here what you do is you want to put in a one-sentence line about your business and then your email information and your phone number.
Hey Tess, if you use the mouse to point with in the video, we'll be able to see where you're pointing when you're speaking, you know? So
What?
You can see where you're actually
Well, I don't want,
pointing.
I like to use this too. All right, fine. For video purposes. Okay, so I'm gonna redo that part. So in the summary, it says here, there's a one line about my business and then my email address and my phone number. And the reason that you do that is because these are the first two lines that Google sees when people Google you. So if I'm Ashley Smith and there's a trillion of Ashley Smiths and you don't know what I look like because you've never seen me, but you do know that I live in Oklahoma, you would know that my area code's 405, so you know that that's me. That's why you want to put these two lines first, so people can know that it's you if and when they have a question of, is this the right person or not? After that, I have a little paragraph here that I extracted from my website that talks about my company. And then I have the most common misspellings of my name. And this works with your SEO, your search engine optimization. So if people are typing my name in wrong on LinkedIn or they don't know how to spell my name, I'm going to pop up. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So I have that, and specialties also work with your SEO too. Specialties as in if somebody's searching for Photoshop or blogging or PowerPoint, whatever, I'm going to pop up in those searches. So I would say your best bet at this point would be to connect with me on LinkedIn and just copy this, because that'd probably be the easiest thing for you to do. Because like I said, you saw a blank square when it said summary earlier. I mean, it's not going to prompt you to do any of this. So you just need to have something that you can go off of. So let's see if this really works. We're back on the dummy account, right? And let's say that I have, let's say I want to do 1S. Yeah. Whoa, why isn't the space bar working? Okay, now I totally spelled my first name and, well, I spelled my last name wrong, but I still came up. So let's spell both of them wrong. Hello? I still come up right. See what I mean? So all the times that you can put in, however many times people can misspell your name, put it in there and it'll work. Now, this thing has a mind of its own. Okay, so after that, I went to experience. So I typed in all of my experience, my education, additional information, and my contact. So that's pretty much how you're going to set up your account. Oh, look, Victoria Armstrong right there. Maybe we should look at her account and see. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You could send me this person could send me a message. The dummy account could send me a message. Or they could do all of these things. Recommend me, endorse me. It shows 500 connections. I'm going to log out of this dummy account and log into my account to show you how that works. And as you can see here, my name is linkedin.com/in/testmack. Like we were talking about earlier with the vanity URLs on Facebook, it's the same way. If we go to the dummy accounts profile, they have not created their URL, so it's this long URL here with a bunch of numbers and things like that because they haven't gone in and fixed it, because everybody has to have a URL that's unique to them until you go in and change it. So there's a lot of little tweaks that you have to do, but like I said, one and done. It's really, really simple. Here it shows you've been viewed by one person in the last 90 days. You've shown up in 12 searches. So it kind of gives you a little bit of history as to who is looking at you. All right, so let's log out of this one because now we know what it's supposed to look like. Now let's go into my account to see what we can see. All right, so here is showing me that I've been viewed 8 times in the past 15 days. And I go, ooh, okay, who's viewing me? Kind of like if you ever did online dating and you want to see who's been looking at you. That was a joke too, okay. So that was the dummy account. So obviously they looked at me. But this person looked at me too, aka my competition. That's funny. And then someone in the insurance industry from Oklahoma City. I'm like, oh, okay, well, who's that? Yeah, they want me to pay to see who it actually was. They'll tell me it might have been one of these 30 people, but if I want to see exactly who it was, then I can pay $19.99 a month to see that information. Now, most people say, well, why would you pay for this and when? You know, like, when would it be beneficial for someone to pay for this? And the answer to that question is, I think it's for recruiters, for HR people that are trying to find quality people, that would be the only time that I would pay that type of money if I was in the HR industry. So other than that, I don't suggest that people pay for it because it's just kind of not really a necessary expense. So I can see all those people that viewed me, and then I have shown up 29 times in search results in the past 3 days. So that's kind of cool. Here, hold on. I want to show you my network, how many people I'm connected to, which is kind of cool. I have 876 connections, which, remember when we saw on the other part, it just said 500 plus. It wasn't showing me exactly how many. And then I have 17,000 people in my network since October 16th. So that's kind of cool too. It's kind of like you've got different degrees of connections, kind of like what do they say, the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something like. It's kind of like the same thing. So it'll show you like first connection, second connection, third connection. So let's see. I don't know this person, Jennifer James. I don't know who that is. So it'll show me my degree of connection. Here are the people that are connected to her that are also connected to me. And it goes all the way down there. So she's actually going to be a second connection. So people will be second and third and so on like that. So that's kind of cool too. Most of the time when I'm looking for more people to add to my LinkedIn, I go to my status, my news feed, and see who's been connecting to who, because I think Oklahoma City is the smallest big town ever. So like everybody's connected, you know. So I might have forgotten that I knew so-and-so, but another person just connected to them and I go, oh yeah, I know them too. So it's just kind of that top, you know, just getting your mind aware of what's going on.
So Tess, you send those people an invite to connect to you?
Yes.
Are you offended if they don't respond and connect?
No. I'm not personally. Now, I think it depends on the person. I could care less. I mean, because they won't say no, they just might not respond. I feel like I'm more offended on Facebook when they don't say it versus LinkedIn. That's just me. I don't know.
I find that I get invitations from people I can't remember or never knew.
Yeah, and that's totally okay. You don't have to respond to that. Victoria, you have something to say?
Well, I had always heard that if you don't know them, don't connect on LinkedIn.
Hey, I agree with that.
So I don't know.
I agree with that.
And I don't have 800 connections either. So.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm not saying that I know every connection. Well, yeah, I know you. I'm not saying I know every single person on there, but I'm saying in some form or fashion. You know, if you're from Oklahoma and you're like an insurance agent, okay. But if you like do the same thing as me, no, I'm not connecting with you. I don't need you tapping into everything that I'm doing. So it's a personal preference. So here I have notifications just like you would have notifications on Facebook. I have 2 invitations and 11 messages, which I don't know why people are sending me messages on here because I never read them. On your contacts, you've got your connections, and you can add connections. So you can put in any email address that you use, and it'll pop up the people that have LinkedIn. A lot of people do this, and that's why people that don't have LinkedIn get those invites all the time. Like I'm sure before you had LinkedIn, you'd be getting emails, so-and-so wants you to join them. And you're like, I don't even know what this is. That's what was going on with that. So it just sends a mass email to everybody in your email list, even if they have it or not, depending on how you set it up. But it connects to all types of different email hosts. So Yahoo, AOL, Outlook, all that. It connects to all those. So you can connect with those people there. It's taking forever. If I want to add connections, yeah, see, those are all the ones that it does there. Let's say I want Victoria to, let's see. I want her to introduce me to somebody because Victoria's, you know, she's got it going on. She knows some people. But I don't want it to just be like this random thing that I ask her, or I mean that I ask, you know, let's see, Donnie. I want to connect with Donnie, and I know that Victoria knows Donnie. But I don't want to just be like, hey, Donnie, let's connect, because he has no idea who I am. So I can ask Victoria to introduce me to Donnie. So what I would do is I click on his name, and then what I would push is get introduced. And then not only does Victoria know him, I have other people on here that know him too. So I can choose whoever I want to introduce me. So I click on Victoria and I send Victoria a message, hey, introduce me to Donnie. I think it'd be cool for us to, you know, connect. So then from there, Victoria sends Donnie a message, hey, this is Tess. I think you guys would be great. you guys should connect. So from there, it's a connection, which is why I think in especially doing business with the government or you know, large corporations that have a lot of people that you're having to go through red tape, it might be a nice thing to have something like this to make it a little less, you know, a little more casual. So this is definitely something that I would use if I was trying to get in good with somebody big. So that's how you could do that. Let's say I wanted to connect with Donnie. And it's saying, okay, what's Donnie's email address? And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know that because I don't really know him like that. So the only reason that it's like this for me is because I have exhausted the amount of I don't knows or friends that I had. So you guys, since you have fresh accounts, it's going to say, how do you know Tess Mack? Is she your friend? Have you done business with her? Is she a colleague? It's going to give you all these multiple choice answers that you can do. But you can only say friend so many times before it says, okay, well, if you're friends, what's the email address? And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know that. And so I guess we're not friends since I don't know that information. And that's just to keep down on tons of people just saying, yeah, I want to be connected to all these people. That's what it's doing. It's just weeding those people out. So unfortunately for me, I don't get to do that anymore. So I just have to wait for people to ask me to be friends with them. That's okay. I'm fine with that. So that's how you would do an invitation, connection. So say I wanted Victoria to recommend me. So what I could do, sorry Victoria that I'm using you. So I can push, I can recommend her this way, or I can get a recommendation from her by going to profile recommendations. Oh, sweet, I got a recommendation there. I can push request recommendation, choose where I worked, and then I can just type in Victoria's name, and it automatically prompts me with a message. Hey, why don't you endorse me, blah, blah, blah. So I'll push send, and now the pressure's really on. But I have a pending recommendation. You asked about that, so this is perfect. So I have one from Lynn North. I can view it, and I can choose, I can say, okay, yeah, this is good, or I can say, you spelled this wrong, or I don't like this, can you redo it? And so I can just send her a message and tell her I don't like it. Yeah. Or I could hide it. If I don't like it, I can hide it too, so nobody sees it. So that's how that goes. And my invitations, I have 2 invitations. I know that person. I don't really know that person, but And then it says people I may know, so then it'll prompt me there. There is groups. There's groups on here. There's message boards, things like that. You use them?
I use the groups.
Often?
Often.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't use groups as much as I should, so that's why I'm asking.
People will post interesting things, and it can give you a heads up on things that are going on. Someone sold a plot of land to the VA, and there was a small article in the local newspaper. The VA is planning to build a hospital there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to send that out to all of my construction clients to give them a heads up.
Cool.
Watch that area. In the next couple of years, there's probably going to be a hospital built. And yeah, it's way out, but I still think it's very valuable information.
Absolutely. Very nice. So yeah, people are on the message boards talking on there often, giving information or, just needing tips, kind of just like a community, online community. That's basically what it is. So you can join groups Here are the groups that I'm in. Most of them are Oklahoma City networking type groups. I would say that I would steer clear of joining groups that have to do with religion or politics, just because I wouldn't want you guys to not get a job based on, oh, well, that person's Jewish and I don't do, who knows? I'm not saying that that would ever happen. I'm just saying that you can't put anything like that past a person. So I would just steer clear of doing those types of things.
Do you think potential employers would use LinkedIn versus Facebook, or would they?
Absolutely. I think LinkedIn is their, okay, so the question was, are potential employers using LinkedIn to look at people versus Facebook? And I think that the answer to that question is absolutely. LinkedIn is first, because they want to see, it's basically like a resume. So they're wanting to see what's going on in that regard. But I think they're also looking at Facebook too, to see what they do in their personal life. I've seen several types of scenarios where, you know, you can get the job, but you've got to delete this, this, and this on your Facebook account in order for you to get the job. I'm not sure that that's 100% ethical, but I know that it has happened. I've heard it happen. So it just kind of depends. Social media is real crazy like that nowadays, so you got to be careful. But yeah, I definitely think that potential employers are looking at this stuff. So that was groups. They even have a special tab for jobs. So if you've got jobs, if you're looking for a job or if you want to post one, there's the job section. Inbox, like we looked at earlier. Companies, there is a company section. It's not as major as, say, a business Facebook page or something like that. So it's not something that businesses are utilizing majorly, but they are still on there doing it. So I wouldn't, be sweating it if I had a LinkedIn business account and, I had like 10 people on there. It's not something that people are really going towards. So, and then there's the news and then more. So if I wanted to, remember how I was talking about if I wanted to see who that person was that was looking at me earlier, it's wanting me to pay $40 a month now. I want to upgrade to the Business Pro account. And it just basically is going to give me who's viewed my profile, full access, premium searches, open link, priority customer service. That was another extra thing that I get. If I pay $40 a month, I get priority customer service. Yeah, don't ask me. So that's LinkedIn in a nutshell. Like I said, if you can get on there and emulate my profile, you'll definitely get SEO ranks, so you'll be higher in the SEO. And then just kind of monitor it. Just take a look, post in the groups every so often if you'd like, or if you want to look like she does. I think it's a great source of information. Do I think that this should be the sole source of your social media being? No. But it is a good addition to what you're already doing. So, questions, comments? Man, that means I did a really good job, huh? Sweet. Do you guys at least understand this a little bit more and how it works? There's really no way for me to do a PowerPoint on this because there's way too much information as far as all that is concerned. So, yes, Victoria?
You know that search engine optimization?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to do that without using any of the social media sites?
Yeah, with your website.
Yeah. Do you do that with your website?
Yeah. You type in those keywords that people would be searching for you on Google or Yahoo or something like that. You type those into your SEO pack on your website. And then when people are looking for those, they are called crawlers. They go in there and they try to find you.
So every website has an SEO?
I can't say every website because I'm not a web developer, so I don't know. I know that most websites that have CMS, Content Management System, have SEO packs in them, like WordPress, Joomla, those types, but if it's strictly HTML, I have no clue.
And if they're old, you don't have it. If your web page is old, you don't have to see it, so you have to get a new version with a new language.
Well, we're having a WordPress class November 1st. You could even see.
Ah, there you go. WordPress is great. I highly recommend it to be the sole source of your content management system as far as your website is concerned, because it's really easy. I don't have to pay anyone to do updates on my website. I can do them myself. So, alrighty, well.
Okay. YouTube?
Yep. We're gonna look at YouTube. We're adjourning at noon, is that correct?
12:30?
Okay.
You've got time.
Yeah, I have.
As you want or not.
Right. Okay, so let's look at YouTube. YouTube was the site that I showed you the video on when we first started. YouTube is more trivia that I know you guys love. It was started by 3 guys that worked at PayPal, and they took their extra earnings and created YouTube, and didn't think it would go where it went. It started out as a video dating website, which I'm not really sure how that worked. I would like to see that. I want to go and look at the archives and see how that was working, but lots and lots of people are using YouTube to learn how to do lots of things. Most people in here have smartphones, especially the iPhone. So if you know anything about iTunes, you know that whenever you download a song that you've purchased, it goes onto the computer in some folder that you probably don't know where it is if you were just looking for it. So I wanted to find a song from iTunes that I bought. I mean, it was mine. I could not find it. I looked in every folder possible, couldn't find it. So I Google, how do I find the files from iTunes? And it's like step 1 through 10. Step 1, go here, go here. And I'm like, okay, this is still not, I still don't understand how to do this. So I YouTubed it, and I typed it in, how do I find the files? And it has a screenshot, step by step, of how to find the file. So what I did was I would watch the video and I'd pause it, and then I would go do it on my computer, and I found it that way, but I had to see it visually. I couldn't read those directions and figure out how to do it. I had to see what was being done in order for it to resonate in my mind. So that's how a lot of people learn and how they get things figured out. I always like to say that you could learn how to perform open heart surgery on YouTube if you wanted to find it and Google it and watch it. But I highly recommend that all businesses use it to pose themselves as experts. So it's always a good idea to have a YouTube video anywhere from 1 minute to 4 minutes. Basically just showing, here's who we are, here's what we do, that kind of thing. Now, if you want to take it from there a step further, you could do a series of videos. Maybe a 5-part series where, okay, step 1, here's how we're going to teach you how to do this, and step 2, this and this, that, and the other. And so then you don't always give them everything, you give them just a little piece, so that way when it's time for them to really, use your services, they know that you know what you're doing. So I would use it in that regard. But it's a really great tool as far as visuals, and then also you can use these on your website. You can connect them to Facebook, Twitter, all that. So it's something that you can use multiple. So I'm going to show you some stuff on here. There's not a lot to know or look at. On YouTube, it's called a subscriber. So we have all these different terminologies, but if you're going to have a YouTube channel, you're going to have subscribers on your channel. It's not as major to have subscribers as it is on any other network because you're looking at the views of the actual video. You're not looking at how many people subscribe because most people won't subscribe. They'll just watch the video and be done. So you'll want to look at your views versus your subscriptions. So let's look at a video that I did. Like I was telling you to pose yourself as the expert. Social media. This space bar does not work very well. Okay. So here's my channel. And if you can see up here, I have 3,683 views and only 9 subscribers. So like I said, subscriptions aren't a major deal. If I go to my uploads, this is every video that I've uploaded. Okay, so here's what I have to show you. We're not going to watch this video because I hate the sound of my voice. But I want to show you that, remember how I was saying you want to do something that poses you as the expert. So I had this great idea that I was going to do all of these different tips and tricks on how to do things on social media. I know that how to change your Facebook username is a popular thing that people forget how to do, like we talked about earlier. So I made this video, screenshotted video of my laptop. It's just, you know, it's a laptop video. I didn't have a script, I just flew off the cuff. This is how many views I have of this video. I did not promote this video. I maybe said on Facebook once that I had it, but it wasn't something that I kept pushing. So people are actually, they're searching for this title and they're watching this video to learn how to do that. So what that does is it poses me as the expert in social media. And then if they want to know more, then I've got some other stuff down here so they can follow me and go on my Facebook and all that. So that was pretty awesome in my book. I thought it was cool. So from there, what you would want to do is just, you want to get something like this set up so you could have a lot of views and people would know that you knew what you were doing. So if I want to upload a video, first of all, I have to sign in. Oh my word, come on. Okay, so if I want to upload a video, I push upload. And I would just select the file from the computer and then upload, and then would upload it pretty easily. You do need to know that YouTube is not a video editor by any means. So it's not something like you can go in and edit all this stuff and make it look cool. Like, it doesn't do that. It just is a hosting site for video. Camera guys, what are some video softwares that you use that you like to edit your video?
Final Cut Pro.
Something easy.
Or you can use
QuickTime? Okay.
That's a good one. I've never used Roxio. You use Roxio.
Yeah, if you have a Mac, you can use iMovie. If you have an iPad, you can use iMovie. I think on your phone now you can actually edit your movies on your phone to just slightly like cut it up and stuff, but I don't know if you can put them together.
Cool.
It's the old Windows one too. Does anybody know the old Windows?
Movie Maker?
Movie Maker, that's it.
I've never used it.
Yeah, I've never used it either, but and
Cool. Well, what was I gonna tell you? I'm gonna edit one of these videos so I can show you what it looks like. Oh, whoops, I pushed the wrong button. So if I'm pretending like I just uploaded this footage, this is what it would look like. So I could go in and type whatever I wanted, type in here, and then these are the tags or the SEO. So that would be what you do. You just type everything in and then separate it with commas. You could put your category in. So, and then you can make it public or private. And then once you've done that, you can change your thumbnail. And then you would just put save changes, and then you've got a video. So it's pretty easy to do. In the beginning, you cannot upload any more than 15 minutes worth of footage unless you go in and show that your account is of, high standards and settings and all of that. Because I tried to help a client do it the other day, and it wouldn't allow us, because she had a 22-minute video, and it wouldn't allow us to do it. So we had to Google how to get more time, and then that's what it told us. So we had to follow the steps, but it ended up working out. But just know that you only get 15 minutes to begin with. So, I don't really have any video examples that are of high quality. I can show you the client that I helped the other day. She got a video done, and she's only had her video up for a week, and it has 331 views, so that's not bad. She does this
As the water runs over rocks and sand
water thing.
Hi, my name is Michelle Ringley, and I am so excited to share with you the 3 properties of Kangen water. Kangen is a Japanese word that means return to origin. So just think of it as having amazing properties, just like the water had back in the beginning of time.
ODOT has a
The
YouTube.
first thing I'd like to share with you
Oh, do they?
is how this water
Yeah,
is
if you
an
go to
enhanced
youtube.com/okladot,
As the water runs
OKLADOT.
over rocks and sand in nature,
Cool.
it creates an electrical charge.
So obviously she is reading on a teleprompter or something of that nature. But it's a 22-minute video, so I'm not really sure who's going to be watching that for 22 minutes. Let's see what you guys have on your channel. So you guys produce these videos? Okay.
These
Which one?
first two are national PSAs.
The first 2?
Those first 2 are national texting, anti-texting.
Like that you created or that someone else did?
No, they're nationally
Okay.
produced
So
and
which?
dispersed to all 50 states.
What about you? What about some things that you guys?
Repair, see Highway 33, that's one we did.
This one?
Yeah.
301 views.
The Guthrie Police Department called our maintenance superintendent here for Logan County and had a citizen report that the pavement had risen here on the bridge and become a hazard. And what had happened, the concrete had gotten so hot, pushed together and just rose up, maybe about 8 inches in one lane, 5 or 6 inches in the other. And so we came out and shut the bridge down. Lots of times on concrete pavement, we'll have this type of damage. It's the first time in 35 years that I've had it happen on a bridge like this. So the guys came out and got it started about 6 o'clock yesterday morning. In fact, we called in 3 full crews and part of a 4th crew to work on this yesterday, because most of our crews are down in numbers. We've lost a lot of folks, and it says a lot for our guys right here that you see them out here this time of day and doing their job, and pretty proud of them. Had to cut out an area about 26 foot wide by 10 feet long if you're going down the highway. We couldn't pour it back with concrete yesterday because the temperatures were too high. I think it was 113 or so yesterday afternoon. So we waited and came back out here this morning about 3:30, had our concrete delivered at 4, and poured it at that time. And that's the finished product, so to speak, behind it. Finished up about 4:30. It's a 12-hour cure. So about 4:30 this afternoon is when we plan on opening it up. In the meantime, the guys have got blankets on it, and they're going to keep it wet all day to keep it from curing too fast.
Awesome. So what was the purpose of that? Why did you guys create that video?
There was an emergency repair, and it's like a really good opportunity because of the summer heat to show what our maintenance crews actually do. So it's more like kind of proactive PR, like showing the general public like how we work day to day and respond to emergencies on the road.
Cool. Yeah, and I obviously, you know, not everyone's going to be able to have that type of equipment that you guys have. So you can always hire someone, contract someone to do that type of video for you, or, you know, get some equipment and do the best that you can. I always say that it's very important to have something in between. So you don't want to have an iPhone video that you create off of an iPhone, but you don't necessarily have to buy major equipment. So maybe something in between, like a digital camera or a nice other camera that you're doing photography with. It would work as well too. I always say that a tripod is necessary because no matter how steady you think your hand is, it never works out. So, you know, it just kind of depends on how you want to work it. But I always say that you can never go wrong with a promotional video that is professionally done, because it's something that you'll keep for the length of your business. So as long as you don't date yourself in it, like I've done before. I'm going to write a book about all the stupid things that you shouldn't do when you're in business, because I've done all of them. So as long as you don't do that, you'll be able to use it for years. So I really like that. I think you guys have a great channel. They've got it all set up, 42 videos, 77 subscribers. I mean, you guys are doing great, so I dig it. Well, Google Plus and YouTube and Google, they all kind of coincide as well. So this all has Google Plus stuff that you can incorporate onto. We didn't really talk about Google Plus. There's really no reason to, but it's just a site that I think is a combination of Facebook and Twitter together, and has different things you can do. You have different circles. You can share information with different people. You can chat with up to 7 people at a time. As far as like a Skype type situation or GoToMeeting, if you've ever used that, Google Plus has the same type of scenario. It's kind of cool because they've got the screen on the top, and then they've got like all the other people that are in the meeting on the bottom, so you can see what everybody else is doing, but you're the main screen. So kind of cool. Not much else that I have to talk about on YouTube. I showed you how to make a channel, how to upload a video. If you've got a Gmail account, then you can make a YouTube account really easily because they all coincide. I would say just, you know, do your best as far as your videography is concerned, and then work your way up. Maybe do a couple of videos on your own, and then hire someone professionally to do a video for you. So in a nutshell, that's how it goes. It's really, really good to use them, like he was saying, for PSAs or for PR purposes, because you just want to make sure that people know what the culture of your business is and what you stand for. So, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? We're done a little bit early, which is totally okay. I know you're really bummed that you're done early. I think we covered everything. Is there anything that anybody has questions about that they wanted covered that they didn't see covered? Because we can totally go over that. Well, that means I did perfect, right? Yeah. No, thank you guys so much. I have some business cards if you ever have questions or you want to run something by me. Advice is free via email, so you can do it that way. But yeah, totally follow me on all those sites and get started, and I'll follow you back, and I want to gauge your progress and see how you guys are doing. And I have lots of students that will get on Twitter. They're so pumped, and they get on there and they tweet once, and I'm like, okay, where'd you go? So
You tweet every day twice, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me, and I like having small groups. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, Victoria, for having me. This was great, and she put together a really great manual vocabulary list for you, so definitely want to utilize that. So, all right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys hopefully some other time soon.